guys, welcome back to the Wood and Metal Workshop. I'm Kent, starting a new project today. As you can see, we're doing some plumbing. New airlines in the shop. Got the new compressor in, haven't done the airlines yet. So, went and picked up, went and dug through my bins of parts and figured out kind of what I had in 3/4, because that's what we're using, 3/4 inch black pipe. And sorted those out. Made a list, went and picked up parts, so we're going to get everything unpacked and sorted. This is the where the water separator will go. Unions on both sides, so we can slide that in and out as needed. Replacement, whatever. And I'm going to build out kind of backwards from there. So let me get this cleaned up and get the vise set up and whatnot, and we'll be back. Alright guys, I got the parts laid out for our first grouping here. Sometimes I like to build some of these in sets on the bench rather than trying to do everything in place. Something like this, it's a lot easier to do where you have a vise and don't have to work in a cramped space or an awkward space. So we're going to start. Let's just start in the middle and work our way out. So here's our first pipe. The pipe that I was going to clean up, I decided no. After giving it a little clean, I didn't like it. So using a combination of both Teflon tape and pipe dope. Okay, that should be tight enough. That come to think of it, didn't need pipe dope, that one, because, well, we'll see how long it takes to get our water separator in. Of course, like all plumbing jobs, I don't know if I have all the parts. I got all the parts to make what's on my drawing, but how often do drawings fail when you actually go put them in practice? Alright guys, I'm going to finish assembling this and bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get the first part mounted up here. Pre-drill a hole. And I double nutted the stud. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get the first part mounted up here. Pre-drill a hole. And I double nutted the stud. Go ahead and back the backing nut out till it contacts. Make sure you're not sticking through because you don't want it to dig into your pipe. Give this a test. Go ahead and mark it. Okay, first section's done. Got our shut off right here. Easily accessible. This section here will run back to the compressor. This one will go out to the rest of the system. This one comes up over and feeds that way. This one will come over, follow up to the beam that runs across the shop. Oop. Old hose reel. New one's going right there. All right, guys, we're getting the next pieces cut here. So you can buy your stuff threaded. Some places thread it for you. If you want to work with standard lengths, you know, that's perfectly fine. Or you can rent, if you don't have pipe threading stuff, you can go ahead and rent it at your local rental center. It's amazingly easy to do. This is a hand threader. You slide it over your pipe. It ratchets. You want to lube this stuff, so this is just Rothenberger threading oil. There we go. Threaded, all set to go. So, one thing I like to do when I'm doing this is to make sure to get all the chips out. I'm going to go ahead and blow this out with compressed air before I put it together. So, next step is to find the rest of our parts for this section, and we'll go ahead and get it together. There's our connection, guys. So air will come in here. This is a drip leg, so you can let moisture out of the system. It'll condensate, run back to this point, and you open this up, let it out. All right, next step, get the rest of this in, get it connected to the compressor. Alright guys, now we gotta start checking for leaks.
HPV can cause certain cancers when your child grows up.
At 175 psi, you're gonna hear hissing. So, and the other thing we need to do is blow any swarf that's still in the pipes out before we start putting our final fittings on. So, you know, from threading, you get little chips in there sometimes. Did my best to clear them out, but you never know. So, we'll crack this drain valve here and let it take anything out of this section. Evidently I just scared the dog. Okay, so that one's good. We follow the pipe up. Don't hear any leaks. And as you can tell from that blast of air at 175 psi, you'd hear it leaking if it was leaking. So our next shut-off valve is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this one. So yeah, I'll leave that one open. So we're going to pressurize the system and it should blow everything out. And then we can go ahead and start on our next step. Of course, I just realized you guys couldn't see what I was doing. So that valve there is now the main shut-off for the system. There's one in the tank, but that's in the closet. That's my main shut-off. So if there's any leaks forming in the system, you shut that off. I put it in a place where I can reach it and shut it off when I leave the shop. I'm not worried about this little section of pipe leaking. Unless that 3,000 psi hydraulic hose blows that connects the tank to the system. So we'll let it get caught up here, and we'll go ahead and blow it out one more time, and then we'll move on to the next step. There we go. Unloader valve done. I'm going to crack it open again, let it come down till the compressor comes back on, and then we'll go ahead and start closing the system up. Alright guys, first one going in.